Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Friday, May 15, 2026. Making the headlines tonight, bus operators' first fuel subsidy payment delayed a week. Bright spots emerge in this year's sugar season, even as next year looks tough. Belize City man fatally shot outside his home in Jane Usher area, and beloved pediatrician Dr. Cecilia Eck loses battle with cancer. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing hereby advises the public of the commencement of works for temporary bridge crossings at 2 locations in Belize City. The first temporary bridge crossing is being constructed near the Belcan Bridge, extending between the Belize Water Services Limited (BWSL) parking lot on the south side and the vacant lot adjacent to the Save-You store on the north side. Construction of a second temporary bridge crossing near the swing bridge between the Bottom Dollar parking area and Regent Street West is scheduled to commence during the week of May 18, 2026. Works at both locations generally include driving of foundation piles, placement of bridge girders, construction of reinforced concrete deck structures, associated marine and support works. To facilitate construction activities, barges and other marine equipment may be positioned within the Hallover Creek and may remain in place until work is completed. The temporary bridge structures are being constructed to maintain public access and traffic circulation during the planned reconstruction of the Swing Bridge and Belcan Bridge later this year. MIDH advises all mariners and users of the Hallover Creek that active construction zones will be in effect at both locations. As such, all marine vessels are hereby advised that a no-wake zone will be enforced for approximately 200 feet on either side of each construction area. Operators of marine vessels and all users of the Hallover Creek are asked to exercise caution when navigating through work zones, observe all posted signage and safety instructions, reduce speed and comply with no-wake restrictions, remain attentive to construction personnel and equipment, extend courtesy and cooperation with workers on site. The Ministry thanks the public and the maritime community for their patience, understanding, and cooperation as we work to modernize and improve the nation's infrastructure. For further information on the project, please contact the Project Execution Unit at 614-3195.
People don't travel with cash anymore. People would stop and they want to do a coffee tour, they want to buy coffee, but people don't have cash with them. Online banking facilitated a lot of what we do. I don't have to run to town and I have to use fuel and other expenses. Atlantic Bank actually approached us. They facilitated us with a bank account, which is something that we didn't have in hand, and then with a POS machine. I sit and sip my good cup of coffee and do payments.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100 key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
This Mother's May, celebrate the woman who makes the house feel like home all month long. Great deals like 15% off bathroom and kitchen fixtures from Moen, Hansgrohe, and Duraflow. Plus, 15% off Hispasensa tiles, Stormguard windows, and 40% off Sunlight windows. And 15% off Berger paints and huge savings on clearance colors. So come in to Habet and Abet or Brothers Abet, call us or WhatsApp us today and make this Mother's May one to remember. Happy Mother's Day to all marvelous moms.
Now that we have the new water system, it has improved the lives of these people a lot.
The life of my village get better. Now we have our potable water in our house.
الشال شقيل بال بس استخا أقري شديش لقاها أوسشيك ما نقليها عن قتيو أم أوسشيك وانكوش مان كمان نشوانكو تو نكوشيك شتاو ألقاها نكاشوك شقوكا نكوشيك شقوكات بس نخوانك أوسشيك بياك.
I thanks for the minister to help us for drilling this well and give us the pump.
Right now, I see my village is getting good. I see water system, I see road, and we have our health post there.
We want to say thanks to the government of Belize, thanks to those that were there for Machakila, and we truly appreciate the support that is given.
Welcome back. With your news, sitting in for Drea Espinoza, I am Marisol Amaya. The first fuel subsidy payment under the agreement between the government of Belize and members of the Belize Bus Association was due this week. However, disbursement has been delayed until next week. At that time, they are to receive a payment for 2 weeks. Today, Chester Williams, CEO in the Ministry of Transport, said the operators have been patient.
Currently, we are in motion. We have discussed the matter with the president of the BBA, trying to finalize how the submission is going to look like. We have come to that agreement. we have received the first submissions from the bus operators, and so it's just a matter of the team that we assemble at the ministry to go through the verification process. And once that is done, then we will disperse money to the operators. So it's going well, I must say. We're grateful to the operators for their patience because they were supposed to receive their first payment this week, but that did not occur because we were still working out on the submissions. So next week they should receive their first payment for this week and next week.
What's in place to prevent over-reporting of the amount of fuel used?
Well, that's the reason why we have the check-in system. They submit by 4 p.m. on Monday, and then we pay by Wednesday, Thursday of the same week. So it gives the team at the ministry the time to be able to do the investigation and verify that the submissions are accurate. I must say that in the initial process, each bus operators have submitted an estimated amount of fuel that they consume per month. Based on the historical data. So if we were to see that for a particular month they go well above that normal figure, then that would raise a red flag. I wouldn't mind they go below, but if they go above, then that's an issue. So we have to look at.
Are all gas stations available for them to go, or is there a specific gas station?
All legal gas stations in the country of Belize, and when I say legal, I mean that they're registered and paying tax to GST, are authorized. So they can go at any of those gas stations. Going across the border to Chitamal or going in the free zone, either the northern or the western free zone, is not acceptable.
In Thursday's newscast, we reported on the worrying outlook for next year's northern sugar crop. But this season does have some bright spots. Fusarium control measures were effective and farmers are earning more from the higher sugar price and the pre-packaged labeled sugar. Favorable weather has kept the season on schedule with an end date projected for mid-June. Production is on track at 850,000 tons of cane. Here is Chairman of the Sugar Industry Control Board, Marcus Osorio.
The interventions we did with government injection of funding last year, we are seeing this crop a marked improvement in cane quality. And also in fields that were treated with the package for fusarium, we are seeing a significant increase in yield per acre. Farmers are reporting between 20 to 25% increase in yields per acre in those acres where the full fusarium package was implemented. The first program was a pilot project with $500,000 provided by government. And that was basically implemented where materials were provided to farmers who afforded to pay for the cost of applying the materials on the field at $75 per acre. Under that project, we managed to apply on 2,150 acres. And the second program was fully subsidized where it was primarily fungicide application. We know, and we had stated that it was a bit late to do the intervention, but it was a situation where we do something or do nothing and lose more. In that regard, in terms of the second program, which came through a second funding from government of $2.5 million Belize dollars, what we did was over 32,000 acres of fields that were treated, and this was done via plane applications, drone, and ground applicators. So in terms of percentage, the total was around 37,000 acres that was treated, which represented just a bit over 50% of the total acres harvested last crop.
Are there any notable positive benefits from the sale of packaged sugar locally by BSI?
Yes, Marisol. The estimates is that farmers will benefit by $3.18 more or less per ton cane as a result of the increase in price in the local market.
While there is a reduction in the incidence of fusarium, there is an increase in new pests affecting the northern sugar industry. Additionally, Osorio says necessary weed management is not being done at the required levels.
We are seeing a growing crisis in terms of weeds, particularly with Johnson grass And we don't see farmers doing any major management of Johnson grass. And I think it will only take 2 to 3 years where fields could be severely infested with Johnson grass, and then that practically that brings down sugarcane production in those fields to very low amounts, which will make it unviable for harvesting. So we are presently through safety. We are preparing to launch some information through a video clip, particularly making reference to management of Johnson grass, which is a very aggressive, and more than aggressive, it's an expensive weed to manage and control and difficult to control. So, and that is raising much concern for us. And I think there is an urgent need. So overall, Marisol, there is more pressures today than what we had last year to production. And that is why I can say that it could very well be that today could very well be in a worsened situation than last year.
Beloved pediatrician Dr. Cecilio Eck lost his battle with cancer today. He was diagnosed with stage 4 adenocarcinoma in July 2024 and had been receiving treatment abroad. For a time, his condition appeared to improve following shoulder reconstruction surgery, but in January 2025, the cancer spread. This year, he was preparing to get hip replacement surgery after radiotherapy on the hip. Dr. Eck was a trusted pediatrician to many families. Following his diagnosis, Belizeans rallied with open hearts to help support with his medical expenses. The team assisting in his journey shared, quote, "While our hearts grieve, we take comfort in knowing that he has fought the good fight and is now resting in the arms of the Lord. The family would like to extend their deepest gratitude to everyone who stood with them throughout this journey, for every prayer, every donation, every message, every visit, and every act of kindness shown to Dr. Eck and his loved ones. Your love and support carried the family through some of their hardest days, and for that, they are eternally grateful. We kindly ask that you continue to keep his wife, Lisette Eck, his children, and the entire family in your prayers during this difficult time." In other news, a Thursday night shooting in the Jane Usher Boulevard area of Belize City claimed the life of Lamar Garnett. At approximately 8:50 p.m., Garnett was reportedly standing directly in front of his residence when gunmen approached and opened fire. Residents in the immediate vicinity reported hearing a rapid succession of 10 to 12 gunshots. Police officers arrived at the scene shortly after the barrage ended and discovered Garnett's lifeless body. Police continue to investigate. Commenting on the controversy regarding HPV vaccines being administered on school grounds, the Ministry of Education, in a statement today, reiterated its commitment to safeguarding the health and well-being of all students and said it remains committed to its collaboration with the Ministry of Health to support school-based vaccination programs. It emphasized that informed parental consent has always been a fundamental requirement and therefore consent forms are part of established protocols. It added, quote, "The ministry remains committed to ensuring that all health-related initiatives conducted within schools are implemented in a manner that respects parental authority, promotes transparency, and prioritizes student safety and well-being," end quote. After the break, Placencia's BIMS Institute pilots sargassum solutions with framed art, fertilizer, and sand supplements. Stay with us.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100 # key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
In May, make Benny's your one-stop shop for appliances. We have Sankey refrigerators, stoves, microwaves, washers and dryers, freezers, smart TVs, and so much more for up to 19% off. Get amazing deals for mom and appliances all May long, and don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make a purchase to be a part of our Homecation raffle to win $10,000 in December. Benny's, quality and savings.
People don't travel with cash anymore. People would stop and they want to do a coffee tour, they want to buy coffee, but people don't have cash with them. Online banking facilitated a lot of what we do. I don't have to run to town and I have to use fuel and other expenses. Atlantic Bank actually approached us. They facilitated us with a bank account, which is something that we didn't have in hand, and then with a POS machine. I sit and sip my good cup of coffee and do payments.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
The Social Security Board's new whistleblower reporting system makes it easy and confidential to speak up by reporting misuse of the Social Security services and benefits, including fraud, misconduct, false claims, and more. If you know of any unethical or illegal activity relating to SSB benefits, claims, or personnel, go to ssbspeakup.integrityline.com or use our toll-free hotline 0800-SPEAK-UP, 0800-773-2587. This confidential reporting system is a way for you to report concerns or incidents privately without fear of reprisal. Your submission is confidential and anonymous. The Social Security Board is committed to providing a secure, confidential medium for whistleblowing that promotes organizational accountability and enhances public confidence in our services.
Now that we have the new water system, it has improved the lives of these people a lot.
The life of my village get better. Now we have our potable water in our house.
اللي شال شقيل بال بس استخا أكره شديش لقها أوستيك ما نخليها عن قتيو أم أوستيك وانكوش مان كما دنا شبانكو تو نكوشيك شتاو عليقها نكاشوك شقوكا نكوشيك شبوشوكات بس نخوانك أوستيك بياك.
I thanks for the minister to help us for drilling this well and give us the pump.
Right now, I see my village is getting good. I see water system, I see road, and we have our health post there.
We want to say thanks to the government of Belize, thanks to those that were there for Machakila, and we truly appreciate the support that is given.
The Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing hereby advises the public of the commencement of works for temporary bridge crossings at 2 locations in Belize City. The first temporary bridge crossing is being constructed near the Belcan Bridge, extending between the Belize Water Services Limited (BWSL) parking lot on the south side and the vacant lot adjacent to the Save You store on the north side. Construction of a second temporary bridge crossing near the swing bridge between the Bottom Dollar parking area and Regent Street West is scheduled to commence during the week of May 18, 2026. Works at both locations generally include driving of foundation piles, placement of bridge girders, construction of reinforced concrete deck structures, associated marine and support works. To facilitate construction activities, barges and other marine equipment may be positioned within the Hallover Creek and may remain in place until work is completed. The temporary bridge structures are being constructed to maintain public access and traffic circulation during the planned reconstruction of the Swing Bridge and Bellican Bridge later this year. MIDH advises all mariners and users of the Hallover Creek that active construction zones will be in effect at both locations. As such, all marine vessels are hereby advised that a no-wake zone will be enforced for approximately 200 feet on either side of each construction area. Operators of marine vessels and all users of the Hallover Creek are asked to exercise caution when navigating through work zones, observe all posted signage and safety instructions, reduce speed and comply with no-wake restrictions, remain attentive to construction personnel and equipment, extend courtesy and cooperation with workers on site. The Ministry thanks the public and the maritime community for their patience, understanding, and cooperation as we work to modernize and improve the nation's infrastructure. For further information on the project, please contact the Project Execution Unit at 614-3195.
Welcome back. The news continues. Christina Cook, the spokesperson for the Toledo Alcaldes Association and the Maya Leaders Alliance, recently said there's a stalemate with regards to the proposed Maya customary land tenure legislation. Today, Indigenous Affairs Minister Honorable Dr. Louis Abane disagreed, saying that the government side has been open to dialogue and compromise. However, he said the Maya leaders have refused to negotiate terms. He added the next meeting is scheduled for Monday.
We met a couple of weeks ago. For the first time, the review panel met, where we have two members on the government side, myself and Minister Martinez, and then Mr. Miss, and they have a professor that's representing them. At that meeting, we spent quite a bit of time looking at the fundamentals, the basics. For example, one of the things that we really looked at very carefully is the meaning of what is Maya communal land rights. What does that really mean? We looked, of course, at the draft bill that the government has put forward and the formula on how to determine the demarcation of the areas around a village. In the first instance, you have a formula in which every member of the village would be allocated 5 acres, not defined in a particular way like a circle or whatever. The village would determine that. And then after that has been determined, the village then has a second phase in which it can say, well, we also go beyond this area, and that is then clarified with the government. In particular, in this case, with our experts from the Ministry of Natural Resources. So we also discussed that, and from their end, they believe that that's a non-starter. They felt that their methodology of determining what their boundaries are is one in which that they have no space for negotiations. Because from their perspective, it is based on customary land tenure, on the use of the forests for different things, for medicine, water sources, etc. So we discussed that's a difference that's there. However, what ultimately we're aiming at is to determine a land area. So we said, well, listen, one formula will heal a land area, the other formula will also heal a land area. Can't we come together and have a hybrid where we're in a negotiation, so we all can't get everything that we're asking for in totality?
Minister Louis Zabane also addressed the investigation of the alleged abduction of Indian Creek Toledo alcalde Marcos Cante in April. Dr. Zabane said he's also waiting eagerly for the official report. He also addressed comments by Christina Cook that this and previous governments are to blame for not settling the customary land rights issue earlier.
Well, I know we've been waiting for that. The country has been waiting for the report. It has taken some time, and we hope that we can get something out because the longer it takes, there's space now for speculation on X, Y, and Z that may have occurred. And we really want, and we're hoping that the police report will be out sooner rather than later, because speculation is not helpful.
Do you accept Ms. Cox's statement that the blame is placed not just on this government but on previous governments for this issue to have reached this point where there's this level of tension?
Well, there's partial truth in that, in the sense that, it's been since 2015 that the CCJ consent order came out. We're now in 2026. We believe that in our tenure, and I can only speak really for our government last term and this term, that a lot was done to move forward. At that time, before our government came in, there wasn't really much movement towards the review panel, having even a draft legislation to look at. Now there is. And so we feel that we have been complying with our part of the responsibilities, and therefore I think that needs to be qualified, that from our time with them that we've made significant progress, and that what we really need to make sure everyone understands, because we have the Maya, we have the non-Maya communities, we have the so-called third-party landowners, and of course the government, that number one, we need to ensure that we're communicating genuinely, transparently, openly with each other, and that especially we need to maintain the peace in these communities.
The U.S.-based nonprofit Black in Marine Science, BIMS, operating in Belize since 2022, established the BIMS Institute as its research arm in Placencia in 2025. It launched Blooms to Business to develop sustainable sargassum products. In its first 2-month pilot, BIMS is employing over 20 staff part-time to process framed art, fertilizer, and sand supplement. Founder and CEO Dr. Tiara Moore, a marine ecologist, says testing is not showing elevated levels of heavy metals in their products. For now, they are processing only pounds of material, since the sargassum is collected ecologically at sea to spare small marine animals. Dr. Moore is seeking government support to scale up the venture from first collection to export.
Once it starts to decompose, we see these adverse impacts, like the production of hydrogen sulfide, which is a toxic gas. So if you inhale that in large quantities, we can see adverse health impacts. It also has a smell similar to what you can see rotten eggs. So then that it impacts tourism and tour guides, because tours are canceled, hotels lose bookings, and then ultimately they don't have a way to continue to sustain their family. And so the first project we really have out here is what we're calling Bloom to Business. And the goal behind this project is to take a sargassum bloom, playing on words, and turn it into sustainable businesses. Because what I know as a marine ecologist is that sargassum is actually biomass. It can be a resource. So through our pilot program, we have tested a couple of things, one being our sargassum artwork. Tourists love to take things home with them. So again, it doesn't have to be this huge scale thing. And the more research-based and technology-friendly, we're also looking at fertilizer as well as sand supplement. And so I know with more support, more funding, there are so many other things that we can be researching and turning the sargassum into, instead of it just wasting on the beach. So we have been testing on non-agricultural agricultural crops right now. I can say we have sent our samples out for testing, and we aren't seeing the higher levels of heavy metals like arsenic in our liquid fertilizer due to the processing that we are doing. So I am very excited and hopeful that this could be large, scaled up. So there's a whole team that actually goes out in the mornings, fills up the boat with sargassum, makes sure that we remove those animals, and then weighs it and brings it back. Then we have our sargassum processors at the lab who process it, who divide it into the different categories that I told you about, and then they're all working on different parts of it. Government partnership is my ultimate goal. You know, I've been able to have some conversations, of course, with our village council. I've been able to have even some conversations with some folks at the Ministry of Blue Economy. And I think it's really about that proof of concept. You know, folks want to see, is this going to be working? Can you do it? And we have finally been able to say, hey, we can.
Meanwhile, sargassum in noticeable amounts has started showing up under the Belcan Bridge in Belize City and along the Hallover Creek. People in the area say they started noticing an increase in the amount of blooms about 3 days ago. The sargassum still looks fresh, but decay starts happening within a few days of it washing ashore, depending on different conditions, including heat, moisture, and availability of oxygen. We spoke with a groundskeeper, Emilio Bustamante.
So this sargassum that's coming in and that's under the Belcan right now, since when have you started seeing it here in this area?
Well, I see it 3 to 2 days now. It come a lot. But last year I say 1 or 2 was passing by.
1 or 2
pieces.
And before that?
Now I see a lot come down. Since I look this morning when I come over here, I see water tap is very brown. I work.
Along Marine Parade, the sargassum was less noticeable this afternoon, and fishers told us it is worse when the southeasterly wind blows as opposed to a northeasterly. They also noted that it is observed in significant amounts further out in the sea, including near St. George's Key and Long Key. They noted that this is the worst year they have seen the sargassum invasion. It becomes a nuisance for fishers who say they often have to stop their vessels and lift the engine to remove sargassum that gets stuck. After the break, public consultations scheduled concerning village boundaries in 4 Stan Creek villages. Stay tuned.
The Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing hereby advises the public of the commencement of works for temporary bridge crossings at 2 locations in Belize City. The first temporary bridge crossing is being constructed near the Belcan Bridge, extending between the Belize Water Services Limited (BWSL) parking lot on the south side and the vacant lot adjacent to the Save-You store on the north side. Construction of a second temporary bridge crossing near the swing bridge between the Bottom Dollar parking area and Regent Street West is scheduled to commence during the week of May 18, 2026. Works at both locations generally include driving of foundation piles, placement of bridge girders, construction of reinforced concrete deck structures, associated marine and support works. To facilitate construction activities, barges and other marine equipment may be positioned within the Hallover Creek and may remain in place until work is completed. The temporary bridge structures are being constructed to maintain public access and traffic circulation during the planned reconstruction of the Swing Bridge and Belcan Bridge later this year. MIDH advises all mariners and users of the Hallover Creek that active construction zones will be in effect at both locations. As such, all marine vessels are hereby advised that a no-wake zone will be enforced for approximately 200 feet on either side of each construction area. Operators of marine vessels and all users of the Hallover Creek are asked to exercise caution when navigating through work zones, observe all posted signage and safety instructions, reduce speed and comply with no-wake restrictions, remain attentive to construction personnel and equipment, extend courtesy and cooperation with workers on site. The Ministry thanks the public and the maritime community for their patience, understanding, and cooperation as we work to modernize and improve the nation's infrastructure. For further information on the project, please contact the Project Execution Unit at 614-3195.
An independent 6-person committee has been formed to oversee boundary disputes between two pairs of adjacent Stan Creek villages, namely Placencia and St. Bite, and Hopkins and City River. Public consultations are scheduled for this weekend in all 4 villages. Director of Local Government Clifford King shared more information on the process.
And what the Village Council Act does, it provides a specific provision for when there are disputes between adjoining villages, that the minister by law has the power to appoint an independent commission to mediate the dispute and to provide solid recommendations to him for his consideration in terms of determining what should be the boundary between these villages that are having this quote-unquote dispute. You have probably seen the press release that the ministry put out. That independent commission has been established, has been appointed. It's being chaired by the Chief Magistrate, Madam Chief Magistrate Deborah Rogers, and the commission has representation from very critical stakeholders: the Attorney General's Ministry, Ministry of Natural Resources, Elections and Boundaries, the National Association of Village Councils, and the private sector. So what the commission is intending to do is to, as part of its methodology, to collect data, to get the views of the public. The commission is intending to hold public consultation sessions, and these sessions start today actually in Placencia. Tomorrow we'll be in St. Bite, and then we also have a similar situation with Hopkins and City River that we're going to be addressing through, as part of the process, a public consultation session on the 29th and 30th of May in both of these respective villages. And what the Village Council...
King explained the importance of local government leaders knowing the jurisdiction of their communities.
One of the most important elements of governance is understanding the jurisdiction that you govern. What is the space that what is the location, what is the extent of the location that you're responsible for? As village councils, these councils are required to govern these areas, to administrate these areas, to manage these areas, to provide services to these areas, to engage the public in those areas. And therefore it's very critical that knowing very definitively what is the extent of your responsibility, understanding the jurisdiction that you manage and that you govern is very essential. And so that is why we're making these kinds of efforts. In Belize, there are only a few villages that have very declared and gazetted boundaries. I could tell you San Jose Palmar in Orange Walk District, the Western Paradise community. They have very defined gazetted village boundaries, and then of the almost additional 194 villages or so, they don't. And from time to time, we've been hearing about conflict and disputes that arise because village councils don't fully understand or know definitively what is the scope of their responsibility.
The Belize Solid Waste Management Authority, BSWAMA, late Thursday reported clearing a solid waste spill on the George Price Highway in a 20-person multi-agency operation that lasted over 12 hours. The cleanup followed a road traffic accident that occurred at 1 p.m. Wednesday. The emergency works concluded at 1:45 Thursday morning and saw temporary traffic disruptions. BSWAMA says it's only the second solid waste road spill in its 13-year history. Tensions between Guyana and Venezuela escalated further on Thursday as the Guyanese government issued a formal protest demanding an investigation into two recent shooting incidents targeting its military personnel along the shared border. According to a protest note from Guyana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the attacks occurred earlier this month on the Cuyuni River. Members of the Guyana Defense Force were conducting routine patrols when they came under fire. One soldier sustained 2 gunshot wounds to the leg during one of the attacks. The GDF confirmed that soldiers returned fire in both instances. These reports follow a pattern of increasing friction at the border. Similar shootings have been reported over the last 2 years, including one notable incident that left 8 Guyanese soldiers injured. The timing is particularly sensitive, occurring just days after both nations concluded oral arguments at the International Court of Justice in The Hague regarding the disputed Essequibo region. Guyana has urged the Venezuelan government to take immediate and concrete steps to prevent future aggression against both military personnel and civilians. While Guyana maintains that these attacks undermine regional peace, the Venezuelan government's press office has not yet issued a formal response to the allegations. In other news, schools across the country are observing this week as Education Week. This time is dedicated to honoring the work of educators and the achievements of students across the country. Many schools organize educational trips this week, while others highlight various career options for students. Phineas Sylvania, a high school teacher from Orange Walk, spoke about the importance of Education Week.
So Education Week is a week of celebrating the challenges, the accomplishments, the milestones that we have come along with since 1981, along Belize's educational system. We celebrate educators, we celebrate students, parents, the wider education community, and the stakeholders of education. During this week, we focus on, like we said earlier, the accomplishments that students have made, teachers, educators, and of course the wider community. We focus on other, the milestones that we need to accomplish in order to take education from where it is today to something even greater in the future. Many schools celebrate it in a way relevant to their needs. Across the country of Belize, we have schools doing career days, for example. We have students engaged in, dressing the part that they would like to play, and the career that they see themselves in the near future. We have some schools engaged in games. We have other schools doing breakfasts with their staff, with their homerooms. Teachers, we have a homeroom. So we have some teachers doing a breakfast type of buffet with their students, kind of like a potluck. We also have the community workers visits. We have various visits from different community helpers, police officers visiting schools, transport department. We have mayors visiting schools. We have a variety of students, being taken from outside the classroom to the community to see what it's like out there, visit to the library, to the House of Culture, and fire stations, police stations, and so forth. Okay, so
Female students at San Francisco RC School in Orange Walk Town who participate in Girls' Day received a special visit from Governor General Her Excellency Dame Froila Salam. Sylvania spoke about that visit and also wished a happy Teachers' Day celebrated today. And the Miss Earth Belize organization on Thursday revealed the 5 delegates who will be competing at its national pageant later this year. The delegates are 22-year-old Heavenly Bradley of Belize City, 25-year-old Gwendolyn Galvez of San Jose Socots, 23-year-old Kendall Morgan of Burrell Boom, 24-year-old Vashti Thompson of Belmopan, and 23-year-old Beyonce Villafranco of San Ignacio. The Miss Earth pageant advocates for the protection of the environment, and all delegates, even at the national level, are expected to champion the cause. The date and location of the Global Miss Earth 2026 pageant have not been announced as yet. And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. A repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again on Monday at midday. Join us again Monday for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our WhatsApp channel under Updates, on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. You can watch the evening news live on our XTV BH&I app. I am Marisol Amaya. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend.